I have to record this again because I literally went off on a tangent. So I want to educate people on Uber. Okay. One, they've caused so Papa John's, Domino's, and Pizza Hut are starting to get rid of their drivers because why are they going to pay millions of dollars in insurance and pay employees when Uber will do it and they don't have to pay? So you can't blame them for doing it. So there's less jobs out there. Now, I have a question. What do people think Uber drivers make? So I looked it up because I've never ordered through Uber and I refuse to. I will drive down myself and pick shit up. But as far as I've looked up, Uber charges a minimum of $8 for a delivery. How much of that do people honestly think goes to the driver? Because I'm going to tell you, I'm working in Orlando. My day started off and I was actually pretty freaking happy. I got to deliver to a professional wrestler. I've met him before and I've already gotten a picture with him. So, and because he was with someone today, I didn't want to bug him too much. So all I said is, I'm a big fan. He said, thank you. And then he ended up tipping me more than what he initially planned, what he pre-tipped. And I was like, that's awesome. And I go to send the thank you because I can't send the thank you until the tip gets processed. So I went to say thank you. You know, it's just a button. But in doing so, it pulls up the page. And so you get to see this is how much you made. This is how much the tip. And this is what Uber gives you from that amount, if you can't do math. A single dollar. In the second order that I did, a single dollar. So if those two people did not tip, I would have made a grand total of $2. Uber charges $8 a delivery. Times two people, that's 16. Minus the $2, they kept 14 out of $16. Now, converting that into a percent, 100% would be 16. $2 of 16 is 12.5%. And that is what they gave me. That's what they paid me. They kept 87.5% of what they charged the customer. See, they classify drivers as independent contractors. So, being classified as an independent contractor, they can skirt legal requirements to pay minimum wage. But then, like, you know, the funny thing is, if I would have taken, because I got them as a batched order, or as an actual delivery driver, we'll call it a double. And so if I would have taken them singly, I would have probably made like 25 to 50 cents per order, more. But because they were together, they took more money away from the customer, or more money away from me. They took the same amount of money from the customer and took more money away from me. So they paid me less, but they didn't charge the customer less. They just took more money. That is absolute criminal. And then they have the balls to freaking send messages out saying, we want all of our employees by 2027 or 2030, I can't remember when they said it, to all be driving electrical cars. We want our whole company to be all electric and environmentally safe. Are you giving me a car? Like, because that's the only way all your drivers are going to be driving electric cars, is if you give them the car. Because I will tell you flat out, I want to go get an electric car. It would save me a lot of money, and Uber pays more. Uber's willing to pay me more if I'm driving an electric car. But they won't pay me enough to actually be able to pay for the electric car. Like, they will literally, last I looked, for every 100 deliveries, they'll give you an extra $100. Which isn't much, really, because it boils down to $1 more a delivery. But it's like, at least that's $1 more. And then instead of paying $15 a day in gas, I'm paying less for the electricity. Sorry, I only pronounced part of the word. I'm paying less for the electricity that I'm using than the gas that I would be using. Then also, no oil changes. So it's like, I'm saving even a little bit of money. Even if it was, I only saved like, I know I save way more than this, but let's say I spend $15 a day on gas, I'd be spending $10 a day for electric. So I save $5 a day, times 6 days a week. That's $30. Then on top of that, they're willing to pay me basically $1 extra per delivery, which technically that would take me like 2 weeks to hit 100 some days, because some days it's bad. So it's like, I make an extra $30 a week, or I save $30 a week. So that would be $120 a month, plus then another $200 in bonus for driving an electric vehicle. So it's like, I'd be able to make $320 that gets put in my pocket. That sounds great. But again, how am I supposed to afford the electric vehicle if you're not paying fair wages? Yeah. Stop sending me that email. And then they do not care whatsoever. They really, I will tell you flat out, Uber does not care about their customers in any way, shape, or form. And for as little as they care about the customers, they care even less about their drivers. Out of all the rideshare and out of all the food delivery stuff out there, Uber does not limit how many people can join. You can literally join, and honestly, if you've ever been in a restaurant, watch when some Uber drivers walk in. They will walk in with 5 phones on them. I have seen somebody with 5 phones picking up orders. So that means they have 5 accounts. Like, how do you not limit that at least? It's like they're literally taking more deliveries than they ever should. Oh, and then get this, the acceptance rate. So you have to have a certain acceptance rate in order to be at this level. To be at this level, then they'll send you what they call higher paying jobs. By the way, that's what they consider a higher paying job is, oh my God, you're going to get $7, but you're traveling 32 miles. And if you think I'm kidding, I have screenshots. That's a higher paying order. But if you're not at that level, because your acceptance rate went down, you will not see those. I complained the other night because the area that I'm in right now, like, I don't have it turned on because I'm filming this, but like, looking to my right, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 food places to my right. Across the street there's 1, 2, so there's 11. Then there's a McDonald's down the road. There's a Panera down the road. There's a Jimmy Hula's down the road. So what's that? 14 now. You got Starbucks just down the road. That's 15. Oh, and I have the Shop and Pay on, which there's a Sprouts directly behind me. There's a Walgreens over there. There's a CVS over there. There's an ABC Liquor down the road. So you're talking about within a half a mile of where I am currently parked, there are 20 different places, and I still think I'm missing a few. Oh, there's one by the hospital over there. And we're not even talking about that little area that's probably just a little over half a mile away. I think it's about 0.5 0.75 miles away. So still within that mile. And there's about 20 different places there. Hell, in just an area, there's this chocolate place. There's a 7-Eleven. That's Five Guys. There's a vegan place across the street, a Chinese place next to it. Across the street, there's another Starbucks, and then down the road, there's another Starbucks. But you get the picture. There's like 30 things in here. But I'm not at the highest tier. I'm not even at this tier right now because I said no to too many deliveries. Yeah, I'm not traveling 30 miles to fucking Disney World to deliver food and be caught in traffic for an hour, not able to make money. That's stupid. So I said no to it and I lost my status. So now I'm scrambling to get my status back. But so they won't show me stuff. So the other day, I sat here for about 45 minutes and nothing. They were not sending me anything. I finally get one. I go into that restaurant. I look at where all the food is for Uber to pick up. There are 4 other bags sitting there. Because it does not matter that I'm right outside the restaurant, because I don't have the higher stats. They will send that order to someone 5 miles away that it's going to take them 15 minutes just to get to the restaurant, rather than the person sitting outside the restaurant. That's why I said Uber does not care about customers whatsoever. It's like, well, you got to get your percentage up. Then, amazingly, so I pay attention to all my stats. The other day, I had 15 deliveries sent to me. Now, I will say flat out, I said no to 5. They were like those 20-mile deliveries for like $5, $5 to $7. No. Especially if I'm having a bad day, I really will have a bad day then. And so, out of 15, I accepted 10. Okay? And after every single one, I check my percentage, because I kind of got to go in my head going, okay, I need this much percent to get to that level. So I'm sitting there. Out of 15, and this is the day I lost my stats. Out of 15 deliveries, I said yes to 10. My percentage never increased by a single percent. I said no to 5. My acceptance rate decreased by 5%, which is why I lost my status. And I'm like, how's that possible? Because this is how it works. Your last 100 deliveries. So you have 100 deliveries, your acceptance rate is this. You accept one. If that one that's now going off was one that you accepted before, your percentage won't change, because basically negative positive, or positive negative, whatever you want to call it. So it's like positive erased a positive, so it can't go nowhere. But if it's a negative and it erases a positive, it'll go down. If it's a positive and it erases a negative, it'll go up. But if you saw 15 deliveries, accepted 10, said no to 5, and your percentage went down by 5, that would mean the 15 orders that got erased that day, 15 orders I accepted in a row. And I was on the phone with them. I told that person flat out, there is no way I accepted 15 deliveries in a row. There just isn't. Because especially on the weekend, I'm never going to go to downtown Orlando. No. Downtown Orlando has like 20 clubs, and they have events going on all the time, which means there's no free parking. Parking is $10 to $25. And Uber will not pay me $10 to $25 to park. Nope. So if I accept an order that's $10, but then parking's $15, I just I lost $5. That sucks. So, like on the weekends, I never go downtown. Actually, I really try to avoid downtown because even when there is parking, most of the time you're not getting close to an apartment. Most of the time, I have to park like 2 to 3 blocks away, and then I have to walk to the apartment. Hopefully, either I have a code, I can contact the customer, or they have a front desk person that can let me in. Otherwise, I'm calling and all of that trying to get a freaking code to get in after walking 2 to 3 blocks. Then, of course, get on an elevator. So I live in the suburbs of Orlando. Like, and even though I've gone to some places like the hospital and stuff, I think the highest floor I was ever on was like the 8th floor. And one day I went and I looked down at my phone to see what the apartment number is. Now the first 2 numbers of the apartment will tell you the floor. The first, because it was three. Was it 3 digits or was it 4? Either way, that's how it broke down. The first 2 digits will be the floor, and then the last digit will be the room or the apartment itself. And the first 2 numbers was 27. I look back at it and I'm like, this building has a 27th floor? And I'm sitting there going, I'm so glad heights don't bother me that much, because I do get vertigo. But I only get it in the weirdest place. So if I'm on the 2nd floor of a mall, and instead of having like a normal wall barrier, if they have like a glass see-through barrier, I all of a sudden get vertigo. I can get on top of my roof, not get vertigo. But being on the 2nd floor of a mall that has glass, and I'm not even standing here, I'm standing on the opposite side, and I'll get vertigo. It's really weird. But it doesn't bother me. But then when I see 27, and I'm like, and dude, that elevator, I've never been in an elevator where I felt the movement that much. I'm literally like going, this is how like some of the rides I've been on at like Universal and stuff feel. That's not a good sign. It's like, there's no seatbelts in here, man. If this thing drops, I'm just dead. So I wasn't freaking out, but it's like once we passed the 13th floor, my ears popped. And I was like, I didn't know your ears could pop inside of a building like that. Like I knew, I've had my ears pop like when I've flown places, but it was like, I was just like, what the fuck? Then one time I had to pick up at a restaurant, or fast food, it wasn't really a restaurant, in downtown Orlando. Where I parked, which was around the block, it took me about 10 to 12 minutes to walk from my car to the restaurant. And that was the closest parking space. So then I had to walk another 10 to 12 minutes back to my car, then finally drive. And I made like $5. It was like 3 miles away, and I only made $5. So yeah, I'm going to avoid downtown like the plague. And the attractions area. Like they're just, it's logic. It's legitimately logic. There's certain areas that, especially doing this job, you know you're not going to make any money at. And it's like, so yeah, I say no, and now I've lost my status, and so I won't get higher paying jobs. Yesterday, I took every single delivery I was sent. I ended up at the end of the day at 11 orders. I traveled 105 miles, and I made a grand total of like $75. And considering like the last 2 deliveries, I actually got a pretty decent amount of money off of those 2. Both of them, I got paid like I think one was 11, I think one was 8. And the mile count was like 3 and 4. So great, but if you take that past like the 75, or let's call it 80 just to even it out. But if you take that off the 80, then that means in 9 orders, I only made like $60. There was one point when I was at the 9 order mark, I was just checking stuff out, and it was like 9 orders multiplied by 8 is 72. The amount of money I made from Uber was $14.75. So they charged $72 and I made 14. I made less than $15. $14.75. And again, I have a screenshot of it. So yeah, I want people to understand that Uber drivers, especially delivery drivers, they don't get paid shit. And they rely solely on tips to make a living. Because if I had to rely on Uber, I would have traveled 10 miles and only made $2. And 10 miles is about 30 minutes of driving. Not to mention I did wait in the restaurant for another like 5 to 6 minutes. So it's like, that's a lot of time to waste and only make $2. Reminder, server's wages is $9 an hour. So if it takes a half an hour for me to even make 3, multiply that by 2, then that would mean I would be making $6 an hour or less by converting it. That's criminal.